and welcome to the Comic Conspiracy episode 545 for the week of Monday, May 23rd, 2022. My name is Ryan Higgins. Who's here with me this week?
And Brock Sager.
Just me and Brock. It's all right. We're back.
It's an OG podcast.
Got a million news stories to talk about. Yeah, boy, what a busy month May ended up being.
I hate May. I hate May.
See, you get off work. You're off for the summer.
Like
you work for me for the summer.
Both of my kids' birthdays are in May. Like tons of other people's birthdays are in May. Free comic book day. Half the time we have movies we have to go watch. Apparently every single makeup concert that you still wanted to go to decided May is when we're going to have it.
I can't help it that every show got postponed 7 times. And so now I'm like, oh, this random concert's now on a Wednesday in October. Okay, I guess. It was on a Saturday in June. I guess everything is different now. So I'm like, oh yeah, my calendar's updated with concert dates. Oh, been delayed for 18 times. Excellent. When is this show? Okay, we'll figure it out. Yeah. May is I really think in the comic industry ends up being the busiest month because it's prepping for Comic-Con, prepping for, all the big things start coming out, big movies. The orders start coming in for all the big summer events, and things start shipping, relaunches, reboots.
Then you throw in finally getting copies of a book that you promised people because it was in between print runs. Oh,
so we've had such a funky recording schedule too because I don't even remember what our last episodes were. We did Doctor Strange. We did something before that. We had the episode with about Neil Adams.
Yeah.
And then the Doctor Strange episode. So we haven't had a regular episode in a month. And then we were off.
No, you guys had a regular episode when I couldn't be on.
Oh, that's right.
Power
outage.
That's
one off.
Yeah.
We had the power outage. So yeah, it is bad.
And we've skipped because your concerts keep going back to back and you went to Disneyland.
Well, right. So that was a rescheduled trip. And then I immediately turned right back around and did another trip. I'm not recording a podcast after I back from Pasadena. It's no, I was dead on Sunday and Monday. I was dead. I did it the first time and I was like, no, I can't do this again. I was dying.
That's what happens when you get older people.
Yeah. Oh, man. That drive to LA on the 5. It's a long one.
Imagine if it was an express train that you could get on.
Oh, I'd totally
and
take
that.
It's
just enjoy the ride.
I'd totally take that.
Man, can you believe that at some point we would have been alive for that if we had, I don't know.
I never know. We have a million news stories to cover here.
I'm gonna. That's only about 25.
Quick hit a bunch of them. I got some questions here. Got a few questions that have been on Patreon. Thank you guys for getting some questions on there. Patreon.com/comicconspiracy if you remember.
I figure if they ask us questions, we'll have podcasts.
Well, no, it's I let a couple build up, so we got some good stuff to talk about here. And like I said, we're going to do it in the last few episodes when we had the special stuff. So we're going to cover some comic news here. Again, a few weeks worth of stuff talking about, worth of stuff to talk about. Sounds right.
Just go.
First, Frank Miller.
Yeah, he's crazy.
And Dan Didio.
He's getting crazy.
Are teaming up.
Oh God.
For a new company called Frank Miller Presents.
Is it just, why don't they just call it Kitchen Sink 2?
Well, that's already a company.
I know, but 2.
So this is pretty surprising because he's been not exclusive, but he's worked pretty much with DC again for the last decade plus, and I don't know if that's just because of Dan, but Frank Miller's returning to both Sin City and Ronin, which I guess means Ronin is leaving DC and is Sin City leaving Dark Horse? I would find that hard to believe. I don't actually know.
Well, the best part is Dark Horse just finally reprinted Sin City.
I know.
So maybe that's why, because they knew that they were going to lose the license, so they had to print something before they lost it.
Well, it's real surprising. There's also other artists that are working on this. The Sin City book is getting is having art done by Milo Manara, which is
what
incredibly surprising.
Okay.
And Ronin is being done by I just had it. Who is it? Philip Tan is doing the art on Ronin. So Frank Miller does not draw quite as much like he used to. So it's not surprising that other people are coming to do the art on him. But real strange. And there's going to be non-Frank Miller books. Dan Didio's writing a book. Other new creators and other creators that they want to work with are coming in to do their own titles. So, I mean, good on these guys for going out there. They've obviously got names, and they can definitely
generate buzz.
Well, yeah, I mean, this is going to probably be their, this is their creator-owned stuff, and they're going to have a chance to, license this stuff out and option it. There was no updates on Sin City. No, to the best of my knowledge, no third movie coming. Maybe this will kickstart that. I'm just very surprised that. I'm just very surprised that they're going out and making their own company out of this. But
because they make their own company, they produce the things, they get some stuff under the belt, they sell the company for more money than they would have made just pumping out the other stuff.
If Frank Miller's pulling his properties from everything, I don't know. I find that a little hard to wrap my head around, only because it might be nice to fully own your product, but you have companies like Dark Horse and DC that are already existing, publishing your products and have the files and have the setup, and you're probably getting especially from Dark Horse, I would think a significant amount of money. Having to do it all yourself, while maybe more profitable, is also 1,000 times more work. And so, I mean, yeah, it's possible Frank Miller's got a big backing and he wants to do this, but I mean, New Sin City, New Ronin, I think it's got to get popular even if he's not doing the artwork, especially Milo Manara doing the art. That's very unusual. He does not do American stuff like ever. He does covers occasionally, but he's a European artist and just does not do interior work. So I think it's just a one shot. I think the Sin City book is just a one shot, but yeah,
you only need like 6 Sin City one shots, and you have a new graphic novel.
Yeah. I'm excited for what they're going to do. I'm a little surprised, but hey, sure, I'll take it.
It's whiskey, wine, and wet work. I don't know.
What's that?
Whiskey, wine, and wet work. I don't know.
Whiskey, wine, and wet work.
Well, it was going off the beers, broads, and bullets or whatever.
Yeah, no, the first one they're doing is it's like a Old West, like a flashback, like a maybe the founding of Sin City. Like, yeah, I haven't really looked into what the story is going to be, but I mean, so his writing is fine.
His art, whiskey, whores, and wet work. Got it.
Well, okay. That's also normal Sin City. It's in the
wild west, people.
Yeah, I mean, but that's also normal Sin City. So, yeah. I mean, whatever about his writing, his art's, it's just not what it used to be. No. But it's good on him for getting big artists to come in and do work for him. I think if really good.
I think if he stuck with like his black and white stuff, and he got back to kind of the roots of like that negative space usage, his artwork can be really, really amazing and fantastic. But his new stuff with the it's just it doesn't.
Well, I mean, it's less when he's doing Batman and Superman, right? Philip Tan is a pretty good artist, and I saw there's like a splash page for Ronin that he did up. It looks great, so it looks like he's really putting a ton of work into this, and so good on them for doing this, and hopefully it works. It's just very surprising. So, well, that's cool.
All right, next one.
Yep, got some more comic news here. It is the 60th anniversary of one Amazing Spider-Man this year.
60 Isn't it years, Thor 2?
Believe that. What's that?
Isn't it Thor 2?
I mean, we're getting to the point where it's going to be the 60th anniversary for a lot of characters, because last year was FF.
Didn't they do that?
2021 it was FF.
Yeah, didn't they do that Thor 60th anniversary thing with that last issue that came out this past week? It's 60 years on it.
I mean, I think it's like the start of it. Yeah. So I don't know when all the anniversaries are, but between, there was FF and then everything was in the next couple of years. So yeah, we're gonna have a lot of 60th anniversaries coming up. But they're doing I'm gonna hate the numbering on this. I hate it when they do this stuff. However, there is an anthology coming up called Amazing Fantasy issue 1000, which kind of roll my eye at. I don't know why they do that.
Okay, I wish we were recording the video so I could like visibly take my headphones off, move away, look like I'm screaming in the background, going, God.
I don't know why. Like, just call it Amazing Fantasy. Like, you don't have to call it 1000. It's the number is
it's Amazing Fantasy 2022, like, or 60 years. Like,
yeah. It's like calling it 1000 is really stupid. I don't know why they do this. They've done these 1000 issues before, and it's just a meaningless number. I don't know what it is, but
just wait. In a few years, it's going to be 1 million.
There are many people working on this issue. However, there are some very notable names on this list, including Neil Gaiman. So very excited to see what he does with Spider-Man. I think Neil Gaiman, I think Spider-Man was in an issue of his Eternals run. I
want to say, yeah.
And there was a Spider-Man in 1602, but obviously that's very different. So I think this is his first time like really writing like Spider-Man. I mean, obviously I don't know what the story is going to be, but a kind of normal Spider-Man, I would assume. So that's cool. Jonathan Hickman, he's still doing a little bit of work for Marvel. Dan Slott's returned to Spider-Man, obviously having not done anything for a while. Kurt Busiek, Jim Chung, Oliver Copiel, Michael Cho, Terry Dodson, and tons of other people are involved in this. John Romita Jr. on the cover, obviously back at Marvel, and actually a very good cover. Probably the best thing I've seen John Romita Jr. do in quite some time. So
that's saying a lot.
No, it's a great.
That free comic book day Spider-Man Venom cover was not the best.
Was one of the worst I've seen. This is a significantly better cover. So,
and then if you put Gary Frank's Thor cover next to his Thor cover for that last Thor issue, you're like, oh yeah, no.
Man. So obviously, they just have the relaunch of Spider-Man for the anniversary. So
yes, because we have to renumber every few months.
Well, to be fair, they haven't for Spider-Man. It's been a number of years. 2018 was kind of the last big set of relaunches for Marvel. They have relaunched when there's new creative teams, but as far as like kind of like line-wide stuff, they haven't done that in a number of years. So, I would have preferred Spider-Man keep going, but whatever. At least it
has legacy numbering on it. It's
whatever. Yeah, we're getting issue 900 soon. So, they couldn't have even called this Amazing Spider-Man 1000 and then just shoved this in when they got to the real 1000. But what are you gonna do? But I'm always excited for these big anthology issues. I really like that, especially see what Neil Gaiman does with this. So. I will be very curious. Speaking of anthology, kind of anthologies, there's also a really cool set of series, cool set of one-shots, coming from DC starting in...
is it July?
August, I believe.
Yeah, because they're in the this previews.
Yeah, it would be the June solicitation for August. It's called Batman One Bad Day. They are a series of Killing Joke, 64-page one-shots that will tell the definitive tales of spotlighted villains, including Tom King and Mitch Gerrard's on Riddler, starting off. And then there is, I get the whole list here. There's Batman Taylor. One Bad Day, Two-Face by Mariko Tamaki, Javier Fernandez, and Jordi Belair. Penguin by John Ridley, Giuseppe Camuncoli, and a few other people there. Mr. Freeze by Jerry Dugan, Matteo Scalera, and Dave Stewart. Catwoman by G. Willow Wilson, Jamie McKelvey. Bane by Joshua Williamson and Howard Porter. Clayface by... I don't have the list here. Colin Kelly, Jackson Lanzig. I know those names, and I'm blanking on what they've done recently. And Hermancio, I believe is how you pronounce him. Raja Ghul by Tom Taylor and Ivan Rice. Obviously, that should be a good one. So very Killing Joke-esque. Well,
I kind of like that they're going with a different title for this, even though this screams like those Arkham Asylum books that had remember when they did those one shots with like every single villain.
Yeah. Well, I mean, these are. They basically just made a mini series out of Killing Joke. These are very clearly Killing Joke-esque size, format. They're putting the importance, and you also notice no Joker on this list, right? Because Joker's already been done with Killing Joke. So I wonder if
I can't wait for the announcements of all the open order variants or Bolin covers.
Oh, that would be fucking amazing. But there is, depending on how you read Killing Joke, that issue, you can read it as the death of the Joker. So I wonder if that's going to be a theme in these books.
That you can read it as the death of the villain?
Yeah. I mean, if this is like the one bad day for the villain, this is like the end of the villains, right? Like these are like, they're like, kind of what if, the day Batman finally snaps against these guys. I don't know. I'm just spitballing here because that is a reading of the final page of Killing Joke is that Batman kills him. There's been, I don't remember what Alan Moore's official answer is. DC clearly, does not put Killing Joke in any sort of future continuity.
They put Killing Joke in continuity when it works for them.
Well, no, it's now firmly in continuity, but at the time it really wasn't. No. They didn't really get into Batgirl being paralyzed for a while, and then they kept her paralyzed, but they would very, very rarely acknowledge Killing Joke. Now they talk about it all the time, but for a long time it kind of was not always acknowledged. So, but I'm really looking forward to these. They look like they could be really fun books.
Again, open order variant, Bolin covers.
That would be very smart.
You would literally go, sets online, buy now.
I mean, I wouldn't want just homage to the Killing Joke cover. I would want something unique to the character, but tonally, if they fit the same style, that would be very neat. That's kind of it for the bigger comic news. Man, I was talking with Brian Scott and a few of the Geekbox guys about just I don't know if you people know what I do for you every week. I go through literally thousands of articles looking for stuff to talk about. I mean, obviously bookmark stuff as it gets announced and big stuff when it happens.
Yeah, you have a feed.
But I scroll through my RSS feed and I just go, I read thousands of headlines and man, holy shit. It's the worst. There's CBR pays. I think they pay $18 an article or something like that. It's ridiculous how much nonsense there is. And I just
and you've cut Bleeding Cool out of your feed.
Oh no, they're still on my feed. No, they're still on my feed. They're still on my feed. Yeah, they're in my RSS feed. Yeah, I just don't follow a lot of these guys on Twitter anymore because I can't. Because it's so not only is there 1,000 articles on Comic Book Resources a week, they also tweet every article 17 times. So it's just, comicbook.com, it's the same thing. It's unmanageable. So, and even comicbook.com, I had to cut out of my RSS feed because it was thousands of articles. It was impossible to navigate. So how
many articles did you see about they mixed up the Toms again?
Oh, I mean, I'm sure it's in there, but you have to look. So for a month, 3 things to talk about, right? Comic book wise. Sure, there's other things, but actually worth discussing. actually worth mentioning. Really, guys, it's not that much. So slow down a little bit. Slow down a little bit.
You get a cultivated list of news topics here on the Comic Conspiracy versus your other ones that will just talk about anything willy-nilly.
I should do a podcast one day. One day when it's just me, I will pull up.
You can just do that regardless.
No, I mean, if there's some day where no one else is here, and I'm like,
quit streaming.
Do I skip? No, I will do an episode and I will read the headline of every article on my RSS feed.
Make it a Patreon tier.
And give you guys the news that I have to look through every week. Now, there is a lot of movie and TV stuff to talk about that's actually important, so we'll get to that. But before we do, I'm going to take a slight spoiler break here because I have to discuss a recent film that just came out. Brock, I don't know if you saw it. I don't know if you want to see it. I will not spoil. I will tease why you should watch this as a comic book fan, because there is very comic specific reasons to watch this.
Is this the Everything All at Once one?
No. I really want to see that though. This would be the recent Disney Plus release of Chip 'n Dale Rescue Rangers. Brock, have you seen Chip 'n Dale Rescue Rangers?
No, I haven't got a chance to sit down with my kids and watch it.
Okay. It
looks like complete and utter trash, and I want to watch it.
It is amazing.
So it's bad.
No, it is awesome. Like, top of my movie list for the year awesome. It is...
Oh, fuck, I'm in the bad timeline. I forgot.
It is really, really good. Now, when I saw the trailer for it, I thought, oh boy, this could be fucking terrible, right? No, it's fantastic, and it's hilarious. Now, this is a case where, yeah, there's a bunch of cameos, but it's very Roger Rabbit-esque. It's actually more than Roger Rabbit-esque. It almost could be a sequel to Roger Rabbit. There's actually a reasoning, and it makes sense. A lot of the cameos, not all of them, obviously, but there is, some of them are obviously just, hey, cameo, but there is actual story behind why things are going on and where these characters are. And it's just not like, we're going to take a bunch of popular stuff and throw it at the screen. There is incredibly deep cuts. And I found myself like, besides the movie being very, very funny, and look, I'm not going to say the plot's the greatest plot I've ever seen in my life, but it was engaging. It was fun. It was really good. And the setup, again, the trailer seemed like this seems fun, but it could be terrible. No, it's great. There are two very big reasons comic people should watch this. One is and so first of all, there's not just Disney stuff in here. There's Warner Brothers and classic animation and comic strips and comic book references and outside of Marvel, and underground comic references and black and white films and black and white comic or black and white cartoons. Like, it is not just, hey, we're gonna have like 10 Disney things in it. No, it is.
Well, even Who Framed Roger Rabbit had some semblance of like crossover. They had Daffy Duck and Donald Duck doing the dueling pianos and.
Well, no, so yeah, so Who Framed Roger Rabbit, very famously had, between Warner and Disney, I think
it was an equal thing, right? It was
50-50 them. And then they would put in Betty Boop, and they would have other characters that have their cameos in the background. But Warner and Disney were like 50-50. Obviously, this is a majority Disney because it is Chip 'n Dale, so they are the main characters. Yep. So they are in every scene. But yeah, no, they are not shy. So there's two very jokey scenes involving one, a prominent Marvel movie character and a very prominent DC movie character. Unrelated scenes, but two very good jokes with them, and they get brought up multiple times. It's very funny. However, in one of not the opening sequence, but like the first major sequence in the movie, and then later in the movie they come back as well. There is an extended sequence with what has to be about as out of left field as you could get from a cameo of a Marvel character. And I like stood there and I had to pause it in like disbelief. I was like,
was it Blade?
It's not just. No. I won't spoil. Maybe we can talk about it next week, or if we have Toby on or someone else that's seen it, like we can actually talk about it. I don't want to spoil it for people. It just came out. I'll give people.
It's on Disney Plus.
It's on Disney Plus. Yeah. And look, it's not going to make the movie for you, but it is just such a surprising cameo because it's not just the character. The character was like, oh, that's weird. It's what the character is from. People worked on this movie knew what they were doing. It's a very funny scene, and if you're a comic person, it's pretty unreal. It's just so bizarre, and I was really shocked when I saw it. I mean, it's not like, again, I'm not going to say there's like change in the world, but it's just like, of all the characters, and not only all the characters, but of all the places you could draw this character from, no pun intended, so you could pull this character from. What a pick. Please, everyone, you know me. You know that I don't stand for bullshit. I don't like a lot of this stuff. I don't like useless cameos. I don't like bad, funny movies. I don't like endless, meaningless jokes that aren't funny. Thor trailer.
Wait, first one or second one?
Doesn't matter.
The second one wasn't as bad. I mean, Christian Bale is Gore. Come on.
Oh, he looks great. It's the saving grace of that trailer.
Hey, Natalie Portman looks a lot better.
Oh, she looks fine. Go watch Chip and Dale. It's fantastic. Okay. Done with that. No spoilers. No, give you some teases. It's pretty good. Brock, I'm dead.
Okay, I'll try to watch.
Maybe you'll hate it. You may totally hate it.
I'll try to watch it with my kids this weekend or Wednesday or something.
I don't even think it's. Yes, it is technically a kids movie. So is Your Friend Roger Rabbit. It is not a kids movie. There are very adult jokes and references.
Fine. I'll watch it. I gotta finish George Carlin first.
It's good. Oh, your kids should like it, and there's nothing like offensive in it.
Is it Guardians level humor?
I mean, you're gonna get it. You're gonna get very different reads on a few scenes.
Well, no, because that's how I gauge it. I've let my kids watch Guardians, but not Guardians 2.
I don't think there's any difference. Okay. I mean,
it's like Teen Titans Go humor. Ramped up a little.
No. Teen Titans is very frantic. I don't think this is like this. It's just, again, there's going to be scenes where your kids are going to read it one way and you're going to read it
the real way.
The real way. Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah. Like any good kids product, the adults get significantly more out of the movie. So,
I actually went to the theaters and watched Bad Guys with my kids. That new one out with all the the shark and the big bad wolf, and it's the whole CG.
I don't even know what this is.
I can't even remember who company did it.
It's a new movie.
Yeah, it was in theaters. It's basically the bad guys.
Sure.
Right, turn good, so to speak, and it's the big bad wolf, a snake. Tarantula, a shark, and a piranha.
Okay.
And it's cute. It's funny. It's just entertainment. Boom.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. No.
Okay. All right. So homework. Got
go
it.
See Chip.
I don't have to go see it. I just gotta stumble over to my TV
or watch it. I'll tell you a movie I will not be seeing. In theaters, on video. It will not grace my Plex server. And that is the Sony Spider-Man spin-off film, El Muerto, starring something called Bad Bunny. Have you heard? Do you hear about this?
No.
Do you know what this is?
No.
There is a, I guess, wrestler / musician named Bad Bunny.
Yeah,
I've never heard of this person.
Sure.
And what I read was he literally got to go through a book of characters that Sony owns related to the Spider-Man universe and chose a wrestling supervillain named El Muerto that appeared in 2 issues of Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man in 2006. And to the best of my knowledge, has never appeared since. What? Now, look, we know Sony, they can only do so much. You have Spider-Man, and Tom Holland's gone, so look, maybe he'll be back, but I kind of doubt it. I guess you have a bunch of villains. You have Black Cat, you have Silver Sable, there's characters you can use, obviously Venom and Carnage and all that. And then there's kind of a big drop. You can't make every movie about a villain because they have to kind of be the good guy in their own movie, like Morbius, like Venom, right? You can't make them all good guys. What? Why? Who? I assume this movie will never actually be made. It just seems like it's the most nothing nonsense ever. But why is this? Why is this a thing? Who asked for this? Who wants this? It's the most bizarre thing I've ever heard in my life.
No, it's not the most bizarre thing you've heard in your life.
For this, it is. They could have announced 1,000 movies before this, and it would have been like, well, I mean, yeah, Big Wheel's a real villain. Yeah, sure, I guess you can. This, I don't even want to call this a real character. I'm sorry, 2 appearances from a spinoff in 2006.
Hey, that's a character, man. Don't diss Frogman.
Frogman is a legitimate Marvel character who has been in a number of Spider-Man comics. He's been in a ton of comics.
What's his first appearance?
I don't know.
It's Marvel.
If you told me there was a White Rabbit and Frogman movie, I would be first in line to watch that. Okay. White Rabbit and Frogman are great D-list Spider-Man villains. Christ. Great. Okay. This, no. Sorry. I have found. I mean, so my list now will be, outside of COVID years, the comic movies I have not seen in theater in my lifetime will be Catwoman, Elektra, and El Muerto.
Bloodshot.
El Muerto. Huh?
Bloodshot.
Marvel DC.
Oh, fine.
I'm not crazy. I didn't see. Was Whiteout in theaters?
Yeah.
Was it? I didn't see Whiteout.
I think I saw 30 Days a Night. Ghost World, or
I saw Ghost World. I saw 30 Days a Night.
I don't remember if I saw 30 Days a Night in theaters or
I saw that in theater. It was like 2 people. I think it was like Mealy. Did you guys see that with me? Did you see 30 Days? Did you see 30 Days a Night in the theater?
You're asking her to remember a movie from how long ago?
Yeah, it was like 20 years ago.
I'm looking it up right now.
Yeah. It was like us. It was like my friend group was the only people that went to see that in the theater. Really, the only ones there. It was like 2004 or something.
No, it's 2007.
Yeah, it was a long ass time.
And then they made a sequel.
But I don't think that was in the theater. I think that was
I think that was straight to whatever was going on.
Yeah, I don't think that got a theatrical release.
Straight to home video.
Yeah, there's plenty of comic book related movies I've not seen, but Marvel and DC. All as close to a near perfect record as I think most people are going to be. All right, you will forgive Elektra, Catwoman, and El Muerto. There are my 3 that I did not see in the theater, that I chose to not see in the theater. Not we'll discount
to see Batman and Robin twice though.
I mean, Batman and Robin, you got to go twice, but once for Batman and once for Robin.
All right, next one.
Yeah, I just
keep going. Come on, we got to hit these. I don't want any more of these on the list. Come on, let's do this.
Well, I'll tell you a movie I will see in the theater. I will definitely see this in the theater, of course. Whatever it gets called, whenever it comes out. But Matt Reeves and Robert Pattinson's sequel to The Batman, officially announced at CinemaCon 2020. This was a couple weeks ago. Again, we are catching up on a significant amount of news here. But yes, The Batman made almost $800 million in the theater. It was it's a big hit. I don't know. I don't know
if I can do with their Joker.
We don't know. I don't know what they're going to do. I have no idea.
That scene they released was not the best.
No, it was not good at all. But I'm very happy that was not in I'm really happy. Did we even talk about that?
No, we never even got a chance to talk about it.
Totally unnecessary. I mean,
like, there's stuff that I figure was cut from this film that, like, might have been interesting. Like, there was a couple jumps I was like, I would have liked to have seen more. Like, I would have liked to see more of Alfred. I would have liked to have seen a little bit more of the build up, the relationship between the, Bat and the cat, because there was obviously stuff cut there. But this scene that they showed with this Joker that they have, and I get what they're trying to go for with the style, but it does not.
Yeah, it didn't work for me either. I'm very glad that got cut out. I don't need that. I don't know if sure, maybe the character's great, out and about being really the Joker. I would hope they avoid the Joker. I don't need the Joker again. I'm glad with. I'll stick with a couple movies off.
Even if he doesn't come up in this movie and he comes up in a later movie, right? Like, take the feedback that you get from that release scene, and if people seem to not like that, you haven't committed to anything with what we saw at the end of the movie. So you can, shift directions, because I think the shift in the Riddler was fine, but the shift in this character, I don't know. Like, the interaction between the two of them was okay, but I think the style was just wrong.
Well, to me, it's not necessarily indicative of what we'd get, because I as far as I understand, he's not the Joker, right? At this point, he is not yet the Joker. He is...
Yeah, he's just some...
Yeah, a random Arkham inmate that's kind of crazy, but has not gone, gone all the way to the Joker. So, that's fine. Like, I don't need the Joker. I love the Joker, but if there's other stuff you can do. I know we're going to get that Penguin TV show, which is great. Mm-hmm. It was 1,000 of the characters they can use. So, but yes, big hit for that Batman sequel. Really looking forward to that. Definitely excited. And speaking of excited, if there's only one character I like better than the Joker, that of course
only one.
Well, if you have to rank villains, you're like, Lex Luthor, Green Goblin, Thanos, the Joker, Kite Man. Of course, right? I mean, number one, Kite Man. It's not even a question. Hell yeah. The Kite Man series on HBO Max. Official. It's a go. We're getting it.
I need to finish that. Boys. I need to finish the animated.
Dude, how have you not finished Harley? How far have you gotten? It is
I'm in season 2.
Good. Okay, I mean that's it. It was only 2 seasons so far. I don't know when season 3 is supposed to be. It's got to be soon, right?
Like, I haven't even finished Doom Patrol. Like,
Doom Patrol 3 is very good.
I'm in that slump where it's just really kind of at the beginning of 3. Like, nothing has really grabbed me at the beginning of 3.
It all comes together,
and it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, okay, fine. Like, I haven't even finished Raised by Wolves season 2.
Yeah, I haven't seen that.
Like,
but
yeah, Kite Man, hell yeah,
hell yeah. So we are finally getting that. We don't have any. There's no official dates or anything like that. But it was talked about being, it was in development, but it is now official.
See, he needs Kite Man
season
needs 1 season at least. He needs henchmen, right?
Well, it is about
they're paper airplanes.
It is about them working at Noonan's, right? The supervillain bar, and of course it is going to be full of obscure to major DC villains hanging out at the bar and getting in the hijinks.
We need what is it? Henchmen. And we need the henchman voiced by Tom King, Clayman, Mitch Gerard. Anybody that's been associated with Kite Man from Tom King's run needs to be a voice of a henchman in this show.
That would be fine. That would be fine. I have no problem with that.
Warner Brothers, make it happen.
That would be great. All right, we talked about some good stuff. Now,
the chopping block.
Bad news. We'll start with random, and we'll go. To the best of my knowledge, the only Marvel thing that got canceled was M.O.D.O.K. I didn't see it. I mean, the Patton Oswalt like CG animated thing. Like I heard it was funny, but it just seems like that was like pre-Disney Plus thing that got approved, and it's like you knew that was not going to happen. Oh, yeah. Hit Monkey never going to happen. Like those Hulu shows are done. So just forget about them. Wonder Twins film gone dead. This was supposed to be one of the films that was on
like straight to HBO Max.
Yeah. And apparently the rumor is the budget was just much too high. They are going to continue to do these HBO Max exclusive movies, obviously, like Netflix and Disney Plus and everything. However, at a much lower budget. Batwoman, Blue Beetle, these are
Batgirl.
From what we Batgirl, sorry, did I say Batwoman? Yeah, Batgirl. Yeah, Batgirl and Blue Beetle, as far as we know, are getting full theatrical releases. They have been upgraded to full movies. They were originally supposed to be on HBO Max only. So for now, I believe that's the end of the exclusive movies to HBO Max. So everything will be theatrical.
I mean, if they want to cut Wonder Twins and focus that budget on reviving Swamp Thing and giving us a season 2 of Swamp Thing on HBO Max,
I would expect we'll get more shows. I expect we'll get.
I'm just saying.
I would think we'll get shows. We'll get significant amount of exclusive shows because they could be done while maybe for an equivalent price. It is also 8 to 13 hours of content as opposed to a single movie. So much more value for the dollar. I know Green Lantern's on kind of indefinite purgatory, but I would think we're now the Discovery's in, Warner is set up. We're
there's going to be a shift of things. They're going to do stuff. So it's not like it's dead. It's dead right now.
Yeah, I mean it's possible that they could make it into a full movie, or they could cut the budget a ton and make it cheaper or market a TV show. But while I would love to see a Wonder Twins movie, I think they're very fun characters, especially the Mark Russell, like the reimagined version, Bendis version that they have now. Obviously they've updated significantly from Super Friends, but that is.
See, for me, it's like I was always weirded out by that when I'm like, well, Wonder Twins would be a great thing for the CW.
Yeah,
honestly, you have Naomi right now, you have Stargirl right now. Wonder Twins just fits in that.
And it's Archie. It's the kid that plays Archie. Yeah, so it'd be like, I mean, so we should say related. The real big news, however, we didn't M.O.D.O.K, whatever, heard of is fine. It was never gonna be more. Like that show was dead when it aired. Wonder Twins, nothing happened. So what are you gonna do? CW, Riverdale, over.
Mm-hmm.
Legends of Tomorrow, canceled.
Yep.
Batwoman, canceled.
Mm-hmm.
Naomi, canceled. The Arrowverse basically is done. None of these should be real surprises. The CW is in some form of trying to sell, so they are cutting a lot of mid and low tier shows. Legends, I understand people have liked the last couple seasons, but I'm sorry, they have been horrible.
Well, I think that again, it's like that problem of there was a peak Legends time period where it was really solid,
like seasons 2 and 3,
right?
Or 2, 3, and 4.
One was rough going. It had its,
one was rough.
It had its up and downs, but you could see things there. 2 and 3 were very, very solid. And then after that, you start to get kind of this.
I mean, pretty confident. I had Legends as my favorite comic book related TV show of
for about 2 or 3 years,
2016, 2017, 2018, or whatever. It was great. It was super fun. The last couple seasons have been awful, just awful.
Yeah, they've had their moments, but they have not been the best.
No, Batwoman again.
It's
just dead after season 1.
Yeah,
you can't.
It was that show with the waste, like I didn't even finish season 1. I have 1 episode and I never finished.
I mean, I've watched everything until the end of season 3. I have a couple episodes to watch. It was just, I don't think you can pick up losing your main character. You know, it's fine. Season 2 and 3 they've been fun, but like, it's not Batwoman anymore. It's not the same character. You had to shoehorn in some other character. It works. I mean, it works as good as I guess it's going to, but I don't know that that's ever going to pick up. And Naomi, I feel like just completely overshadowed. It just sort of.
Well, I think Naomi fell into the trap that like Black Lightning fell into, where I really enjoyed Black Lightning. Like
Black Lightning was very good.
Very good.
Yeah, I never watched season 4. I watched the first 3. 4 still on my TiVo. I got to watch that final season.
I don't think I finished the final season, but like
was very good.
I really enjoyed it. The problem was it was kind of this. It was penned more. It wasn't given the like spotlight it needed, and it was kind of just shoehorned in as like, look, we're filling the week with all of this stuff. When it would have been better if it's like you have a couple here and then you have a couple that play later on in the year, right?
I mean, I don't know. I know.
Wait, wasn't it out the same day as like Flash?
I think it was after Flash.
Yeah,
I think
it was like
Superman and Lois have had like horrible scheduling where they're like 2 episodes on, 5 weeks off, 3 episodes on, 5 weeks off. But it's just a more natural draw. I think Superman and Lois is great. As far as I know, that's been picked up for a 3rd season at least. Stargirl, again, I really like. They've had their season delayed again, so it's not going to be back out till the fall. But that I don't know if we'll get a 4th season. They'll make a decision, I guess, when it airs. But Stargirl is very fun. And for me, what I want is superheroes, and Superman and Lois is that, and Stargirl is that. Mm-hmm. Legends was not that. Naomi just didn't really become that. Like, there was like not a lot of promotion behind it that I saw. I never really saw ads for it in the other shows.
Well, that was the other thing too. Is the shows kind of, except for maybe Stargirl. Like Stargirl, I think most other shows had the character pop up in something else.
Yeah, so Stargirl started separate, but it had the connection in Crisis. Yeah. It had the connection of Jay Garrick. So you did have, at least for the super fans that are following this stuff, you had at least some characters in there that connect. Superman obviously was in multiple episodes of all the shows. So yeah, so there was an immediate draw there from Flash, from Arrow.
Well, and like even Batwoman, like with those, I mean, there was a draw because she was in. Though, like she was in Arrow,
yeah, she was in the crossovers,
and the crossovers.
Yeah, I just think Batwoman was. I'm surprised it got a 3rd season. I don't think it's a bad show. I don't know what the ratings are. I don't pay attention to that type of stuff. I just think the show, you just lose your main character after a season. I don't know that you can really recover from that. Mm. It's just. I think you're just going to alienate a lot of fans. Probably dropped off. It's hard to know. I'm sure someone could link us to the TV ratings for Batwoman. I'm going to guess they were probably pretty mediocre in season 3. And yeah, and like I said, Naomi, it just never got the promotion. It never got the push. I never saw. There's no connection to it in the other shows, so the draw just isn't there. Had they had her, maybe they put her in Legends for a season and then give her own show. Maybe that would have worked. Mm-hmm. You get a built-in audience. I just don't know that it was. I mean, maybe they'll put it on HBO Max. Maybe it'll get picked up. It's possible, but yeah. So just an absolute bloodbath. And at this point, Superman and Lois is not acknowledging any Arrowverse stuff, and Stargirl is the same. While, yes, they are technically connected, they are completely disconnected from the Arrowverse. So it's done. I mean, it's over. Yep. They're shot so differently. They look so different. If Supergirl and White Canary were showing up in these shows, I'd be like, okay, well, yeah, they're still doing stuff. Diggle wasn't as Superman and Lois, though. I do take that back. I think that's the only connection because she came in for an episode.
Probably. I mean,
yeah, he was in an episode. I think that's the only connection. As far as I know, there was like 2 Diggle shows, and then both not happening. That there's no word on that.
I don't know. I've been off of CW shows for. I think the pandemic just killed it for me.
Well, I talked about this. Crisis was both one of the best things they did and one of the worst things that happened to them.
Yeah.
It just kind of killed. It just kind of killed all the shows. Like it's so funny that it did the opposite of maybe what it was supposed to. It was supposed to kind of breathe new lives in all these shows, and it ended up just absolutely killing them.
So they should have called it
like
0
Arrow
hour.
ended, right? Arrow flailed around for the end of its half season. They tried that spin-off show with his daughter.
They didn't even try that.
Well, no, we had the pilot. The pilot was an episode of Arrow.
They did that shoehorn pilot. Yeah, that was bad.
It was terrible. Flash just every season is worse than the previous by large margins.
Well, it's like Legends Flash was like boom, it went, and
the
then
first
it tripped,
couple
and it's just been
good. Yeah.
We're still waiting for him to stop.
No, yeah. No, it's been fucking rough. The last 2 seasons have been. God, it is so. I watch it and I'm just like on Twitter, like through 3/4 of the show, just like fucking end this, please put this out of my misery. What have you done? What have you done to this poor show? And so what I think we're really saying Naomi just never had a chance.
It wasn't Crisis on Infinite Earths. That was the last crossover. It was actually 0 hour.
Yeah. However, a show did get added, I believe, straight to series 2, and that is Gotham Knights, one of the shows that had been talked about starting. And look, we have one single poster to go off of, and that one single poster looks so bad.
Like, at this point in time, I'm just like,
it is the most CW thing that CW ever CW'd.
At this point in time, they need to just cancel all of the show. Like, keep Superman and Lois, because that one's fine. Keep Stargirl, that one's fine.
Just keep those and just don't worry about anything else. Just
give us a Wonder Twins show, a CW show. Give us a fucking Prez show. Anything. Like, oh, dude, come on. A Prez show on CW?
Amazing. But I'm sure. But like
you did not see that coming.
The pitch for Gotham Knights, it's basically the video game.
It's just fucking Robins. That
Batman is dead, and so all the Bat kids are.
You mean all the Robins?
Sure.
All the nocturnal and flighty things
are trying to figure stuff out. I mean, obviously, Batman dead, whatever. Roll your eyes. The idea of a Robins show, like, sign me up. But they're all like 12. Like, they're all children. Like, I don't even know. I guess one of those characters is Nightwing. I think. I don't even know who any one of those characters is supposed to be.
So this is the problem: is you have Titans, which has Nightwing in it. It has Tim Drake in it. You already have an existing
Titans has its own issues, but I like it.
You've
established it in spite of itself.
You've established that. Like, start something new. Like, I don't know. Give us a fucking it's like a fucking what's her name? Cassandra Cain Batgirl show. Give us a fucking spoiler show. Like.
I think they're in this. I think they're in that poster. I have no idea.
You know what Gotham Knights is actually, right?
How about we have a Batman show? You have Superman. Just make fucking Batman too. Why not? Like, why does Batman have to be dead? Who cares? Just cast Batman.
You know what?
If a Batman show and a Superman show, right? Team them up. Like, what are you thinking? Like, look, I have no problem with the Batman TV show. I have no problem with the Robin show. It's just that one poster. That's all we have to go off of. And it's like CW vomited on itself. Like, it just looks so.
Well, you know what Gotham Knights is, right?
It's that video game.
No, it's just Gotham Academy.
Well, no, it's not. I mean, Gotham Academy are other characters.
They're taking these kids Superman and putting them in like prep school or something. Watch.
Sure. With Superman and Lois, the promotion, the trailers, the posters, the only stuff we had to go on right before it aired was like, this looks like a Superman thing.
Yeah.
With Stargirl, again, the stuff we had to go off of was
it looked
characters and costumes.
It looked like Stars and Stripes, JSA,
names,
like boom, yeah.
Yeah. And power. Yes. So cool. I'm in. This looks like 5 teenagers walking down the street. That's not fucking Robins. That's like, why? Why is this what they show? Like, it's just like maybe it'll be great. Maybe I'll be on here at the end of the year being like, Gotham Knights is the #1 show, baby. It beat out Peacemaker. It's the best thing on TV. I don't know. It's just, how is this the first thing you show? It looks so bad. And it looks like, it doesn't look like Superman and Lois and Stargirl. It looks like cheap CW stuff.
Yeah.
So, I mean, maybe this is supposed to be the replacement for Riverdale. And if that's what it is, that's not what I want. Look, Riverdale was amazing, and it's just...
It's amazing
just
in
ridiculousness.
It's amazing in where it pushed Archie, right? Like it took Archie and said,
"It was not for me." We're going
to modernize Archie and sexualize Archie and we're basically going to take Archie and go, you know what? Archie's no longer wholesome. What would really happen? Right?
They mixed Archie and Twin Peaks, and it's the strangest thing I've ever seen in my entire life. And I mean, I guess you can do that, but I just don't. I don't know. I don't really want.
From what I hear, the Gotham Knights video game is gearing up to be Marvel's fucking Avengers.
And it's just Gotham Knights is gonna be some other thing. And it's like, I have no interest in that. So,
I mean, I want that Justice League versus Suicide Squad game, or that Suicide Squad one.
Eventually. Eventually.
All right, M.O.D.O.K gets canceled. League of Extraordinary Gentlemen reboot in the works. Cool.
We had a lot of stuff to talk about. We're gonna save some of these stories for next week. We have a couple questions we're gonna answer as I'm gonna get to these.
Okay, no. We cannot save one. We have to get out of the way right now.
What is it?
And that is the horrible CGI in that She-Hulk fucking trailer. I am not going to sit on that
conversation. Okay.
I am not going to sit on that for a week.
Okay. Why don't you tell me, and then I will give my. I will tell you what I think.
So watching it, I was like, okay, everything went.
And just She-Hulk trailer. If you're like, I don't want to know anything about the She-Hulk trailer, period. Skip. But yeah.
Like,
okay, we'll end on this. We'll do the questions.
Yeah.
She-Hulk.
Like, I watched the trailer. I was like, okay, everything with Jennifer Walters, cool, amazing. Stuff with why am I blanking on his name? Mark Ruffalo as Bruce Banner, as Hulk, looks great. But why is it that he looks great, and then you pan to her and she looks bad as She-Hulk? Like, there are points in that where it's like, it looks just, I don't know. It looks like they did not finalize her, I don't know. It like, and sometimes it was good, and then other times it wasn't. So I was just, I was not impressed. It hurt to watch.
So for me, didn't bother me at all. This whole She-Hulk thing is so weird. People are losing their minds, and maybe I like She-Hulk, but to me, I watched this and I was like, yeah, that looks good, looks fun, looks fine. CG looks fine. Didn't bother me at all. So this is on 2 levels. The CG. Let's talk about the CG first. I'm a little nitpicky on Marvel CG because I know the production is huge. Yeah. I'm not nitpicky in the CW stuff. No, not because it's DC. It's because it's CW and they have like $9 to spend on these shows. I only expect so much. Look, objectively, Solomon Grundy looks like shit on the 2nd season of Stargirl. But I don't care because it's CW. I don't expect a lot.
Yeah.
Right? On a Marvel movie or a Marvel TV show, and on a DC movie, right? If I was watching, I don't know, like Batman, if it looked really bad, it'd be like, the whole thing like with Superman's mouth in Justice League, I think people kind of blew that out of proportion. Like, it was such a small scene, like it doesn't ruin the movie, right? But if you have like these long sequences, I go Black Panther. That end fight scene of Black Panther to me threw me out of the movie so much because the CG I felt was like out of place and not very good. Like there were significant long portions in that last battle where I was like, what happened here? Like they run out of time.
I think the issues I end up having with a lot of Marvel CG is the portion, like the proportions of the character don't fit
like,
right. Like,
you know, I can crap all over Guardians 2 for not liking the plot, but the CG was fantastic, and I never for a second had any issue with the effects in that. It was amazing in Endgame and every movie, Spider-Man. You know, there's nothing I've seen recently that I was like. I think there was one shot, I think in like the first episode of Moon Knight, where I was like, that's a little rough. But I'm never like, the CG looks fucking horrible. The whole thing's ruined for me. So with She-Hulk, it's two-pronged. One, it's a trailer. Yes, it would be nice to have fully done CG. I'm just going to assume it's not fully done. But the bigger thing with this is it's not just a random thing in the background. It's a main character that's going to be in a significant portion of it. A big part of this has to be a believable main CG character. And that is just a very I mean, imagine you have a TV show and Thanos was the main character, right? Yeah. I mean, it's the majority of all the TV shows, despite everything around them being CG, the humans are human, right? There are characters that are special effect, like, you know, obviously what's his face in Moon Knight, we were just talking about it. Khonshu, right? I mean, obviously that's all CG, but
and like
he's in shadows and he disappears and does at a rooftop, and so they could do a really good job hiding it. You know, occasionally Moon Knight CG when he's fighting, but for the most part, I mean, these you know, some of these are people in suits, and there's a lot of practical effects with the humans. So with She-Hulk, she's a big CG thing. So I understand that's harder. It didn't really bother me. They had a Hulk model to probably already use, so they're building She-Hulk. And this goes to the other part, is people are complaining about the way she looks. That's what She-Hulk looks like.
Yeah, no, like,
you might.
Her look is
people
fine.
May want her to be. Yeah, she could have been a little more muscular, but if you look at some of those stills, like, she's pretty big. She's not Hulk big. She's never been Hulk big, except for that shitty new run in Jason Aaron book, which was bad. She has been drawn very muscular before. Potentially bodybuilder looking, but not usually. She is big. She is very big. She is very tall. She is superhumanly tall. She is superhumanly strong and definitely.
I mean, she was
very muscular.
The Byrne run really made her out as like a runway model.
Well, the Byrne run, she isn't like almost at all. In the Byrne run, she's like human. So in that, even in the very first issue, again, look at the cover. She's not the Hulk. Right?
No,
she doesn't get.
She's more model-esque.
She gets taller and more. Right?
Yeah, exactly. It's more like Cindy Crawford or like that.
She is
that late 80s, 90s model, right? Like
her power. Although she gets extremely strong, obviously, you know, Spider-Man is rail thin and can kick a truck, right? You know, so I mean, the muscular muscles do not equal strength in comic books, but She-Hulk is generally not drawn to be like some fucking jacked giant bodybuilder.
Well, that's again, this goes to
normally not how she's drawn.
This goes to the evolution of Hulk, right, in the MCU movies, right, where we have the Ang Lee one where they got, you know, it wasn't Bana, it was that I can't even remember the rest, like the bodybuilder's name or whatever. They just made a different character. Right, the one that they based the CG Hulk off in that first movie, and then when they did what was it, the next one, like he changed a little and they kept it as it was a different character. But then when Mark Ruffalo came along, they kept Mark Ruffalo's facial features and bulked up Hulk and bulked up Ruffalo to kind of match.
I think I don't know how much they used his facial features in like the early one, but they
used it in the early one because you could tell.
But in the later ones,
it's significant,
very much so, because he's like Smart Hulk and everything. Yeah. So that he's much more human looking. He's not very human looking in that first one.
But with this She-Hulk, I think the issue comes in that again, you're taking an actress that when she's playing Jennifer I think the issue is Jennifer Walters is just a smaller version of what she ends up growing into as the She-Hulk. Right. And I think the actress that plays Jennifer Walters is not the same as what She-Hulk would transition into, which that's no issue. It's, I think, it's just how, I don't know. It's one of those things where it's like, it's to me, her proportions just seemed off. Like it was, her legs were too long or her torso was too, I don't know. It was, and it could just be like, because of its early CG and we don't know, right? Like they could take what comments about this and go, oh, let's fix this or see if we can do something with it. But
yeah, no, I expect there will be plenty of updates to the effects as it goes on. I just think it looks fine for a main character. I'm sure it'll be better. But I mean, if you're expecting this giant bulking, bulked out She-Hulk, you're not getting it. You're never going to get that. That's just not the character.
I want a She-Hulk character that looks as natural as possible, being CG.
Yeah. And we're going to get Abomination. We're going to get Hulk in this. So there's going to be a ton of big CG things in this in the show. So, will she Hulk out at the end? I'd say there's a pretty good likelihood that they'll have her do that. I could see her getting like huge and ripped and something like that and busting out. Sure, but it seems likely. It seems like a despite not really being a thing from the comic, it could be a.
It seems like this is
a fun fan scene, but
like it seems like this is like hitting some notes from Dan Slott's run. It's hitting some notes from Charles Soule's run.
Oh yeah, it's them and Peter David, or it's them and John Byrne. Yeah, I mean those are obviously the big influences. Yeah. So I don't think they're going to pull from too much other stuff.
All right, questions.
I mean, look, I go into every Marvel show excited. I don't leave a lot of them excited, but I go into them excited. This looks like She-Hulk. It's exactly what I expected it to be. It's a rom-com with superpowers. That's usually She-Hulk,
And that's fine.
Yeah. That's the character.
Not everything needs to be like big galactic, big god thing.
And I expect she's going to fight the hell out of supervillains. I mean, we know is it the Wrecking Crew's in it and Abomination's in
Frogman is in this thing.
Fucking Frogman's in it. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, I'm down. And dude, throw a ton of D-list villains. Have her
Wrecking
rep
Ball,
some of these people.
Oh yeah,
I'm fine with that. That's what it seems.
Oh god, if they put the Wrecking Crew in here, that'd be fun.
And this is. I don't need humor in a Moon Knight show. That's not Moon Knight. A She-Hulk show? Yes, it should be funny. That's She-Hulk.
The best thing I saw about Moon Knight recently was somebody said...
I never even finished it. I got I got like 2.5 episodes to go.
Good luck.
It's a struggle.
Basically, somebody said, why is it that Moon Knight is just this? And showed a picture from The Mummy where it had Brendan Fraser in the middle next to the guy that plays one of the the protectors in the black robes and stuff like that, and then the quirky brother with the glasses. It's like that's Moon Knight's character in the show. Those three characters combined, right? And I was like, yeah, that's true. I think I'm going to go watch The Mummy now.
I love The Mummy.
Oh man, so much fun. I need to go back. All right,
we've got some questions. Yep, we're going to get to these. This is from Alpan. This is all from patreon.com/comicconspiracy. He says, hi, Ryan. You and Kevin were discussing Tom King's upcoming Danger Street, which has been pushed back, but it's coming out soon. His upcoming miniseries, Danger Street, several weeks ago. You touched upon reading some older issues in preparation. Could you recommend some books in a reading order I could follow to get the most out of Tom King's new title? Yes. So I'm actually about halfway through reading these myself. Danger Street is based on a run of DC Comics in the 70s called First Issue Special. Mm-hmm. They were I think it's like 15 or 16.
There was a handful of them, yeah. Let me look them up.
Single issue comics. They basically it was a series of number ones. And the pitch for Danger Street is that he is taking most or all of these characters in some fashion and kind of putting them together into one story.
13 issues.
As like is it 13 issues? Okay. They're sort of like a replacement Justice League. They're trying to like, what was the pitch for Danger Street? They're like, they want to like do something big to save the world.
Yeah. I don't.
And so there are real major characters in DC like Elongate or Dr. Fate and Metamorpho. There's characters that were introduced in this run that you may be familiar with, like Warlord, and maybe not, like Atlas. But these are characters that have appeared in other stuff. And then there's characters that I am pretty confident never appeared anywhere else, like the Dingbats of Danger Street and Lady Cop. And the Lady Cop story is fucking wild. Like,
can you bring that tomorrow so I can read it?
They're all in the DC Infinite app. That's how I read them all. Yeah, that Lady Cop story is like. It's pretty. It's 70s. It's pretty. It's pretty. It's pretty great.
Oh, it was Robert
Kanigher.
Yeah.
And
he did a lot of the Wonder Woman stuff. Ooh.
Yep, there's some old school talent working on these books, trying to do something hip and cool. Atlas, the first issue, which is the Jack Kirby one, it's like a decade's worth of story in like 22 pages. Some of them are a little tough to read, but it is fun to go back to. The Metamorpho story is actually really good. Ramona Freda did the artwork on that.
Yeah, Ramona Freda.
The Metamorpho one was pretty fun.
Well, the Green Team, the Green Team, they didn't Simone do one years ago?
Yeah, Gail Simone brought him back as part of New 52. Green Team was tough. Dingbats was tough. Those were very tough reads. It's just. They're very half-baked concepts that there's just nothing. These characters,
Starman.
I'm sure Tom King. I'm sure. Well, the Thomas, what's his name?
Ted Knight one, and his son's David.
No. The Starman one is the it's not Ted Knight. It's the alien one. Is the one that came.
Oh, the one with the thing on his chest.
Yeah, I'm just Tom. Oh, what's his name?
Hold on, I'll find it.
I'm blanking on his name.
Give me a second.
But the Alien Starman was one of the ones in this book too.
Tom Collar.
Yeah, there you go. Tom.
THOMKALLOR.
So yeah, I think they're worth reading just because it's such a weird, interesting concept to go back and read these. But yeah.
Didn't they just collect them like a handful of years ago?
There's an omnibus of the whole thing. Yeah, like a hardcover. Yep. So I should still be. I'm sure that's still in print. Craig Anderson, our good buddy Craig Anderson asks thought of this during the Neil Adams tribute podcast. Who are the artists and writers from 2000 to now that will be thought of in the same way? The ones that transformed the industry. I kind of have two thoughts on this, because you have the comic people, but the superhero Marvel DC comic people, but then you have people like Randa Telgemeier and Dav Pilkey who do Dogman and all these other that have really
it's more the scholastic
changed the industry in different ways. So they are equally important. Just we will stick to in the way Neil Adams changed stuff, the kind of Marvel DC Western superhero big two, quote unquote. And it's a tough one because I think there's incredible artists, but I don't know that people are really. I don't know that you can really break that mold.
Well, I think the issue is that, you know, there's incredible artists, but I don't know that people are really. I don't know that you can really break that mold. Well, I think the issue is that, you know, there's incredible artists, but I don't know that you can really break that mold. Well, I think the issue is that, you know, there's incredible artists, but I don't know that you can really break that mold. you know,
I mean, I have people I like,
but if you could think of somebody who was like George Perez today, who would that be?
But that's what I mean. There are people like George Perez. They're just doing what George Perez did. You could say better. You could say differently, right?
I think it's more of like a generational thing. So it's, you know,
I really think the last two artists that actively changed the entire industry were Jim Lee and Todd McFarlane, because that was the last major shift in American comic books. I mean, like I said, in the American Western superhero, Marvel, DC, periodical, like this part of the industry that Neil Adams and George Perez are parts of. Because again, you have decades and decades of people doing kind of normal stuff, and you would have certain creators come and do something wildly different. We don't have that anymore. Everyone does something wildly different. No two books look the same. No two people are doing the same thing. You have really, really good artists, but their influences are pretty clear, whether it's manga, whether it's web animation, Disney animation, classic comic books. Who influenced
Jim Lee? Neil Adams and
Neil Adams, right? Exactly, right. So it's like, but I think McFarlane and Jim Lee actively changed how the industry works in a similar fashion to guys like Neil Adams, and I don't really know if that can happen again. There isn't a...
Well, I think we've seen a shift, right? Because, I mean, if you look at how art influenced a lot of the stuff from back then, right? Like, it's the Neil Adams stuff. It's the George Perez stuff. It's, you know, Wolfman gets added on to George Perez all the time.
Well, he's a writer.
Yeah, but you know, like, for the most part, kind of the art was that pinnacle thing. I think we've shifted now more towards, we have writers that are more prevalent and more impactful and have changed it. And kind of the artists around them have, you know, done things. But again, it's difficult to, like you say, nail down somebody like, you know, like Kirby or Adams or Infantino.
Yeah, I mean, he's a little more classic, but yeah, there's plenty of, like, you know, gun on my head, the greatest artists of all time are living right now. You know, I love all the old guys, but things become more refined. There's incredible artists out now. You used to get a lot of garbage. Yeah, look, there's really good artists in the 50s. They're 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, but things have come a long way. I mean, there's incredible diversity in style.
Man, you have Mitch Gerards, you have Mikel Haymin, you have Nicola Scott.
I mean, like, you could just look at a slice of what people work for DC, and you have some of the best artists the industry's ever seen. Doesn't, you know, you look at Marvel, you get cover artists, you look at Image, you look at all the indie books, right? There's incredible people constantly. Guys like Neil Adams stood out because nothing looked like that. Yeah. That's just not how it is anymore, because everyone is on that level now or exceeded it. And everything is so diverse. Everyone has that. Nothing is taboo. I mean, every rule has been broken.
You can go on DeviantArt and see artists that are amazing that haven't really had any, like, real.
Yeah, it's just, you know, everything has changed so much that, you know, you will get incredible artists, but ones that change the industry, I don't know. That's tough. It's a tough question. I would love an answer if someone's got one. Leave a comment on our Facebook group or you know, at me on Twitter or something like that. But yeah, if you've got I'll put this. I will actually take Craig's question here, and after I post the podcast tonight, maybe tomorrow, I'll post this on Twitter and just, like, you know, hey, if you've got an answer, I'd love to know, because and this is not a dig at any current artist. They're all amazing, but there's nothing to change, really. I mean, you could bring in outside influences, but that's not new. every style has been done. I'm not saying someone can't. I just don't have an answer. I just don't think it's changed that much. Would you
say that like Andrea Sorrentino is kind of a but that like influential style, like
and that's what I mean. Amazing artist, absolutely amazing, but nothing's changed in the industry. Nothing's different. No one's. There are barriers that were broken. There are no barriers left. Anything goes now, right? That's what I mean. There's no limit.
Yeah, because you had guys like McKean doing a lot of amazing stuff. You have J.H. Williams.
McKean was doing mixed media stuff. Yeah, again, that's not. It's amazing. It's just not special. It's been done, right? What hasn't been done? What is that? Digital art, 3D stuff. Every genre, every style has become normalized, right? There is no barrier. What is the barrier left to break? Like I said, there are probably the most incredible artists that have ever existed in the comic industry are working right now, but they're working in an industry that has already been broken over someone's knee, and now everything is available to them. Guys like Neil Adams and George Perez to a degree, a lot of these guys that came in the 70s were breaking decades old tradition of just normalcy. There were very few people that broke through and elevated the industry.
Phil Jimenez?
I mean, sure, but he's just a George Perez clone. He will admit that. That's not a bad thing. Wonder Woman Hysteria is one of the greatest comics I've ever seen in my life. But he's a George Perez clone. That's just where he comes from. So
I think
what he did is not any. It's incredible, but
I think it's flexibility, right? It's creators and artists like refining. Like I think it's refinement now.
Right. That's what I mean.
It's being open to like
everything has been done. So there's no barrier to break. There's nothing that you've never seen. This is like, this gets talked about a lot with video games. It's not a perfect analogy, but it's one I'm very familiar with. When you had a lot of the video games in the 70s and then you go to home consoles, every new console was this incredible leap in technology from Atari to the Nintendo to the Super Nintendo to the N64. And then it's like, well, clearly PlayStation looks better and PlayStation 2 looks better and PlayStation 3 looks a little bit better and PlayStation 4 looks a little bit better and PlayStation 5 looks a little bit better. A little bit. They're not the leaps of, they all look great, and this stuff looks amazing. The video games have never looked better, but the leaps are minimal at this point. You've sort of what is there a next step? I don't know. That's not to say this stuff looks bad. It's the best it's ever looked, but it's refinement on something that already has been accepted. If you show, the difference between, Nintendo and Super Nintendo, you see the jump in technology. If you showed someone PS4 to PS5, they have those, the videos where this comparison, you're like,
there's barely.
I mean, yes, there are technically. Yeah. Oh, but the shine of the light on the water is better.
Trust me, I've played 100 and some odd hours of Horizon Forbidden West on PlayStation 4 because I haven't been able to get a 5. It runs.
It looks amazing.
It looks amazing.
It looks amazing.
It has a little bit better graphics than the first game on that came out on PlayStation 4 or 3. There's a 4. No, it came out on 4. But. Yeah, again, is it leaps and bounds? It's not 8 to 16 or 16 to 64, right? So, I mean, hell, somebody made like a PlayStation 1 version of Horizon for Zero Dawn, and everyone's like losing their minds over it. Yeah, so it's going backwards, apparently. Right?
Yeah.
All right, next question.
A final question is from Tyler Willits.
Oh,
he says, Are there any legendary runs you haven't read? Well, yeah, the tons of them. I just picked up the Mike Grell Green Arrow Omnibus, which is a series I've always wanted to read. I know Kevin has talked about the Question Omnibus coming out this year, yes, which I also plan to read. Curious if there's anything on your list you haven't got around to reading yet. Tyler.
Geez. That's a whole podcast.
As much as I've read, there's near endless stuff I still haven't read.
I haven't read the Bendis.
The list never ends.
I haven't read Ostrander Spectre. I haven't read.
Yeah, I don't know if that's called that legendary. It's good. I don't know if I ever finished that. I read the first. I read quite a bit of that, but yeah,
I haven't finished the James Robinson. I haven't even started the James Robinson Starman.
Starman's fantastic. Second omnibus or softcover omnibus. I
don't know if I like those softcover ones. I just couldn't. And you haven't restocked the first one.
It's been out of print, but it just came back.
Okay,
we're good. It just came back and available.
Yeah, because I think I told DC
that I like them about half that size.
Yeah, I don't mind soft covers if they're thick, but they can't I don't know. There's a size that it's like no, can't be too big. I mean, I haven't finished Doom Patrol, Grant Morrison. I'm gonna get into Jason Aaron's Thor because they finally have the omnibuses coming out, but who knows how long it's gonna take to get all three of them or two of them.
Oh, they're gonna come pretty quick. I think it falls off pretty hard at the end, but the early stuff is fantastic.
Oh yeah,
I mean, I read all that in singles.
Yeah, I read a lot of that in singles too.
What have I picked up recently? Well, I've been on a Golden Age DC kick. I picked up all the Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman omnis, and I mean that's about as legendary as you can get because that's the start of all that stuff. I've read the early stuff of all of those characters, but there's big runs in there I haven't read. I mean, yeah, I've read tons of stuff. What's sitting in my 20 long boxes of old to read piles that I picked up. I don't know. I'm trying to even think. I mean, it got to be something. Tons of indie stuff. Oh my god! Don't even get me started on Saga. I barely scratched the surface on that. I mean, it's not over, so maybe it won't be legendary at the end. But
hey, I read that issue 151 of Fables.
I never finished Walking Dead. I probably only got halfway through Walking Dead. That's definitely. I picked up the omnis or the compendiums for that. Yeah, that's on my list. Actually go back and reread from the beginning.
I got almost 40 of the colored issues I haven't read yet. So
you had the originals, right?
I have the trades. I don't have the original singles.
Oh, okay.
I got into it and I was like, I can't commit to this on a monthly basis after reading it 6 issue. So
a big part of my picking up the epics from Marvel, I don't get all of them, but I get, I have a handful that I pick up, is because I'm really good with the 60s. I'm really good with the 90s and on. I have big gaps in the 70s and early 80s of Marvel books that I haven't read. Lots of those runs, like Avengers and FF and Cap, and I've read the Frank Miller Daredevil and on, but there's a lot of runs in there. I like Doug mentioned Bill Sienkiewicz Moon Knight stuff. So actually, I've been picking up those omnis epics because those have been coming out for a little while. I feel like I should read Turtles. those are getting new prints. I've read, I think, the first issue or two, but I never kept going on the original TMNT stuff. I feel like that's something I should actually.
I mean, there's always stuff to read. Like they're pumping out She-Hulk omnibuses, and I'm like, oh, cool! I can finally read some of this stuff. Yeah. Trying to look at what I got on my shelf. There's just so much to read. It never ends.
All right, some good questions. We'll get some more questions for next week. Appreciate all the topics. Appreciate everyone who leaves questions. Patreon.com/comic-conspiracy. Some news topics to talk about next week. We'll get to all these guys. Still a lot to talk about. It's catching up.
We're going to talk about Obi-Wan next week.
Yeah, the Geek Box. That's a Geek Box topic.
We can talk about it.
I mean, I suppose you could if you want to. Thank you to all of our Patreon backers, including Joe Duff, Kelsey May, Craig Anderson at ClearPathCoaches.com, Jimmy Rivera at the Social Forum Podcast, and Talon Bray. Thank you all very much for your continued support. Comic Conspiracy on Patreon, patreon.com/comic-conspiracy. Head over to comicconspiracypodcast.com and Apple Podcasts for all our previous episodes. You can, of course, go to Comics with an S, Comics Conspiracy. That's the store that we all work at, where you can purchase books from us for pickup or shipping.
.biz. He forgot the .biz.
What did I say? Oh, .biz. Yeah. Yes, .biz. We have started to add significant stock to our clearance list as a sale items page on there. I mean, we have hundreds of thousands of items. Tens of dozens, maybe tens of hundreds are up. Like, we're getting a pretty good list on there in our clearance. We have so much stuff from back stock, old inventory that's finally getting online for pickup. That stuff is only available on the website. The sell items are only available on the website. You can't pick them up at the store, but they are in our warehouse. They're not currently at the store. So if you see stuff on there, don't come to the store looking for it. Buy it on the website and do an in-store pickup. We'll get you that book in a book or statues or toys or merch or whatever it is in a day or two. Head over to conspiratobrock.com. You can see all his stuff over there. Wanders the Fourth Dimension Podcast.
Almost. I think I'm going to get back to it. We'll see.
Getting, yeah. It's been busy. You got some time in the summer. You got a little time. Started back going in. Charlie's Doctor Who podcast, Wanders in the Fourth Dimension. A lot of Who news recently, so I'm sure they're super busy over there with the new episodes. The Eisner Award nominated fanbasepress.com is where you can go to see Kevin's weekly interview series between the panels. Kevin now works. What's that?
I'm like, I voted in the Eisners. Ooh.
That's fine. You work in a shop. You can.
No. I have a double whammy. I work in a shop and I'm an educator. I think I voted for the past 4 years.
Yeah, I usually do. I gotta jump on and do this year. Weekly interview series between the panels at fanbasepress.com and my wife Leanne at leannehill.com. So you can see her artwork and buy copies of her prints and commissions at etsy.com/shop/LeanneHillArt. And a lot of it is at the store as well.
Speaking of Kevin, he has a story coming out on a Kickstarter.
He does.
I can't.
Purple Eyes?
Purple Eyes, yeah. Purple Eyes something? Yeah.
Purple Eyes, I believe is the name. I don't have it in front of me here.
Purple Eyes Volume 1.
Yeah, it's got Kickstarter that Kevin Sharp is working on a story for.
It's got about 22 days to go. But yeah, so go to Kickstarter and look at Purple Eyes. The premise is you have 73 minutes to live. What do? You
have purple eyes, too.
Apparently, because that's how you can tell.
Hence the name.
I know.
Go to Twitter. You can follow myself, Ryan Higgins. Ryan, I'm back, baby. Brock is Brock Sager. Toby is Toby XI. Charlie's Insanity and Chaos. They don't tweet at all, so I don't know. You can follow them, but they're not going to say anything.
I don't know.
Kevin is that Kevin Sharp.
I just love that you come back.
But, I mean,
I just love that you come back and it's all like up and down with the Boston Red Sox.
The threes: baseball, Bauhaus, and Batman. The 3 Bs.
Baseball, I swear to God, Sunday was like your wet dream of Twitter throwbacks with Dick Tracy and New Warriors #1. I was just like, oh God.
The anniversary of New Warriors #1 releasing. I believe it was today. I believe today was the actual release date of New Warriors #1. Kevin is that Kevin Sharp in the store's Comics Con store. Please check out Geek Box, which should be back next week for new episodes, and Manga Machinations. Thank you all very much for listening to this episode. We'll see you next week.